Weird. Okay, yeah, totally changed all my settings. I downloaded the newest NVIDIA. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. I downloaded the latest NVIDIA broadcast, and it I guess it like reset my settings or something. Well, I'm glad you said something because I was totally on for like many minutes. Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, made these avatars. Ari from my team made these. I am not an artist, so I'm not capable of making cute pixel art raccoons. But then I also reached out to someone who's like specializes in pixel art, and he's going to be making us some more, and we should have raccoons and animations and hats and fun stuff. So. Yeah, and then I think they can do some things just like the other ones, but not all of them. I think, yeah. Okay, so looking at our beautiful placeholder art here, I'll show you guys kind of how this works. It'd help if I actually clicked on the simulator. Let's go to the screen. So we can pull back over this thing. Just ignore the fact that those don't light up. You can't use raycasts in UI space, and this is all built in UI. So, but yeah, if you pull back, we can basically track the power. You can see kind of the color is changing as you go, so you know how strong you're going to be launching. And then as you move left and right, that arrow is going kind of the opposite direction, which is like, hey, this is the direction I'm going to shoot. And so then you would release and the raccoon would go zoom. So that's all set up. Now we just need to make sure they receive it on the host side, and that works, of course. Okay. Yeah, I want to say the only commands that we've done, I think sit, maybe? Yeah, we have sit, and then I think stand. And I want to say dance, but I don't think it's very interesting yet, if I remember right. What is the hourglass? That was weird. Maybe you can like only do so many commands in a row or something. Okay. So I'm like keeping my eye on my audio mixer. Yep. Yeah. So well, sending. Actually, no. We only need the. We're sending a float because I only need the single axis that I'm rotating. So just like basically the angle. I'm just sending the angle, and then I'm getting a vector from that angle. Let me pop open this script. What did I call that script, and where did I put it? Oh, it's on the other. Oh, no, actually it should be on player. Hold on. Raccoon player. And it's on their playback. Yeah, angle and power. Yeah, so I'm sending two values. So I'm sending a angle as one value and then power as a second value, just two separate floats. Let me open these up. I think that's now set to launch player, if I remember right. Is this full screen? No, it's not. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. So here, yeah, we can see what the callback is sending, right? Power of launch and angle of launch. They're coming through Quantum, which uses FP instead of float, which is just floating point. But I'm converting them to float here. So I can use them with like Unity-based stuff because we don't actually send the physics through Quantum. And yeah, so now we will see this math here to convert the the direction from the angle to a vector is totally over my head. And so I used AI to help me figure out how to do that formula. Because initially I was passing just the angle and it was like, nope, don't do that. That's not going to work. So we'll see. Okay, now I want to build a test because I don't want to actually have to connect the other phone to like just see if this part is working. So I'm going to build some kind of like debug launch values. And I'm trying to decide how to do that because every player is unique. I think I'll make a little button, like a little special debug player launch. Oops. Debug player launch. And then hopefully we have Odin in the script. And it should be button. And I think you can do this. Oops. We'll call this launch player. Okay, now I wish I could somehow pass an argument. I don't know. Passing an argument doesn't even make a lot of sense here in this case because it's just a little UI button in the inspector. So we might as well just add a temporary little set of variables. I always forget how to do. Is it header? I should start doing this like for practice. I think that's the syntax. No, it's not. I see other scripts use like headers all the time, but I never do them, and I should probably start doing those. So we'll do public float. We'll say debug launch angle, and then debug launch power. And then we get to find where our launch. Somewhere around there, yep. This we'll call launch player, and we will pass in debug launch angle. Oh, it's not even asking for that. Boo, yeah, because that's a problem. Okay, since we can't send the callback, let's just parse this out here. Or break it out, I mean. Private void, we will say raccoon launch physics. We'll call it that. And then we'll throw all of this in here. And then now we can say this wants power of launch, really just these two things. And angle of launch. Do we need anything else from the callback? It doesn't look like it. So then we can just delete this. And then now, oh, actually, what were those? Callback, power of launch. Okay, so straightforward. So raccoon launch, and we will do callback. Power of launch, callback, angle of launch. Because these probably need to be floats. Okay, now we have that basically back to where it was, but now we can actually also call it from here, and we can just pass our debug values. Debug launch power and debug launch angle. Cool. Let's try that out. Okay. So we'll just pre-populate Let's actually make sure that the debugs popped up. Yeah, launch player. Let's actually we won't well, yeah, we probably should. We'll just say 1. I think it's normalized. I think it's 0 to 1, but we'll see. And then we'll just leave that at 0. But let's go ahead and get out of the prefab. And let's get in and spawn a player. I think I'm going to move my avatars below. Yeah, I think I put them there. They can hide behind the logo. All right, let's spawn our players in. Fake player. Okay, let's click on... Okay, actually, just as a quick curiosity, I'm going to hit launch. Okay, that was a normal launch, whatever. But the other type of launch, if we actually click on our raccoons, we can find that button. Who am I selected over? Let's shuffle. Well, let's just try to launch this one. Okay, so interesting. It launched it way out, so let's play with some values and see what it wants as its values to be kind of neutral, I guess. So the angle's 0, and that went backwards. So I'm going to try 180. Sorry, I can say words, I promise. 180. And we'll do a launch power of 0, and I'm going to assume it won't move at all because 0 feels like it should have no power. Okay, so that's actually great because that, at least for the 0, because the gravity is still turned on, we just added 0 force. So that's actually good to see. Let's reset. Click on a new guy. Now we don't know if that angle was right because there's 0 power applied, so we need to test it now with 1. I'm going to do 0.5, and then let's try 180 and launch player. Now it's curious. The forward direction is off to the right. I don't love that, but okay. Like I feel like they should be facing forward, but. Okay, launch player. Okay, so 180 worked. He went much faster that time, and that felt pretty cool. 1 is powerful, oh man. Like, I might need to figure out because it's a normalized scale. Let's go to our script and see like what it's actually sending. So the physics using power of launch. So we're just multiplying the direction. Maybe we'll see how it feels with the slingshot. I feel like at 1, it's just going to be so intense. But okay, well, now that we know the 180 is straight, let's try to do a little angle. Let's try to launch this guy here since we know 180. Well, actually, hold on. 180 worked for that group. Let's go over to this group. Oh, there's no one there. They're all in the same spot. What the heck? Okay. So let's try with this group. Let's see if you also a 180. 2.5. Okay, that time he went right. He looked like he launched to the side, which makes me wonder, is their forward direction always actually forward? So, okay, yeah, so these guys face forward. You can see the blue, I think blue is forward, and it is going towards the building. But then if we go to this group and we pick one of the avatars, you can see forward is to the right. So we probably need to fix the forward direction so it's consistent. I think it would be really annoying to like write the code to like use a different force direction based on the rotation. Like they should always face forward at spawn. Different launcher types like a cannon, slingshot, ping pong paddle, recognition. That'd be pretty funny. That'd be a funny idea. Yeah, right now it's just this placeholder art where you would pull back and launch, but yeah, that could be totally fun to theme that. Okay, so I guess we need to set rotation on spawn. That shouldn't be crazy. Let's make sure that the regular spawn button, because I'm hitting like a hotkey that is like an old system. Let's spawn in and make sure that like this, yeah, okay, that faces right. Do these also face right or no? Okay, yeah, so our spawning logic does not set rotation, and it should. So let's change that. Okay, so the easiest way to find that, actually it should just be up in our script already. Store new target node, I think that is what. Yeah, populate spawn points, move player to new node. That just moves. I don't think I want that. Where's my button? Because what is that button called? Let's find that. Because that will be telling. Oh, it's a different script. So the one that is spawn and debug players is this one. And okay, this is like its own totally custom logic. We instantiate players. Yeah, okay, so this is, I'm gonna have to write it twice, unfortunately. I wonder if someone would be some of those launchers that you're talking about, Rose, would be like better. Like maybe they're unlockable and you can launch, yeah, stronger if you eventually unlock the cannon versus the broom. Or if they should all be equal. Okay, I'll write it in here first because this is my debug. I just have to remember to write it in the other place, or when I go to do a real test, it won't work. So shuffle player positions happens in spawn players. So let's just do it in here. We are move player to new node. Okay, this is actually good. So this is just a copy of. Okay, perfect. Actually, this is in one place. This is actually really good. So we can just do transform dot rotation equals quaternion identity. But I think that's, since I'm not setting it, it should always be that. Okay. I think I'm just being dumb. It's because they're spawning in two different locations. At different sides of the map, that the rotation is not being set, but I need to somehow determine. Hold on, I'm gonna hit play. It'll be easier to think through looking at it. We spawn in our players. Then we're just gonna select them all so we can see their gizmos. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through one at a time. So those ones are facing right. So basically what I assume is world right. So they're facing to the right. And then if I go there, so I mean, both of these are actually facing the same direction, world forward. But it needs to be what is considered forward for their spawn position. So it is going to have to be a little more complicated. Because these spawn positions, we can in the future decide, hey, let's put this in a totally different spot, and like let's put two groups next to each other. So I have to think how we want to organize that data. Like what is going to determine, like what is going to tell them which way to face? I think right now there is a check somewhere on spawn for which group they're in based on the number. I think it's like just a big switch case, if I recall. Yeah, okay, so you can see here, this is just how I'm identifying the group. 1 through 6 is the first group. So if we go for this, then we set the gravity to a specific direction. Oh, that's smart. That's super smart, Pixel. Yeah. I like that idea. The lazy way I was about to do was because I know that this is group 1, so I could have just rotated here, which I might still fall back on if the other one gives me trouble, but I like your suggestion, so I'm going to try it. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to be lazy, just because I don't want to get the angle wrong, and then it's slightly off, and then they shoot in the wrong direction. Actually, hold on. Gravity. Yeah, we'll just put it here. Also, this is all kind of placeholder code, so to speak, because this is prototyping. Once we're out of the prototype phase, when we kind of have locked in some certain things on the design, we're going to totally throw out I would say 95, if not all of the code, and start with a fresh project, and use this project as almost a design document. And say, okay, this is how we want it to work, but the way it works under the hood is really bad. And so the benefit of that is I can go real fast. It just means it's not scalable right now. But I think your solution is definitely the proper solution. So I appreciate that. It's good feedback. All right, so we're gonna say transform. That is not transform. We need transform dot rotation equals new, and we'll do vector3 dot Euler. Can I do that? Is it as Euler? Hold on, I have to remember how to make a quaternion from Euler. I know it's pronounced weird. I like saying Euler because it's what I'm used to. Is it quaternion as Euler? Oh, I saw it. There it was. I always forgot which direction to go. So there we go. And then we would set that to the proper angle. Okay, so it was 1 through 6 was just kind of working properly. And then 7 through 12 need to be rotated 90 degrees. Let me drop in a game object just to determine which way on the axes is 90, if it's negative or positive. Okay, so that's there. That one is currently facing, maybe I had it backwards. Yeah, I think I did. Okay, so group 1 through 6 needs to rotate, you see, world forwards that way. So we need to rotate like that. And that is negative 90 on the Y. So let's do that. And the other should be 0. Oops, it should be this group. Sorry, here. So again, this is a good example of where it makes, I don't like that those don't need to have floats. These are all whole numbers. This is a good example of when you maybe just choose the ugly thing that goes faster. So yeah, goes faster in the sense of faster for me to implement, not necessarily performs more performantly. Runs more speedy. Okay, delete that random cube we dropped in, and let's see if this fixes our problem. Yeah, one of the other reasons why I paused about, oops, there's a spare cube just floating in the sky. Let's get rid of that guy. One of the other reasons why I paused before I did it the probably better way was because these aren't placed in perfect angles. Maybe I got lucky, but kind of eyeballed them. So experimenting to find the right angle, I just was worried that would take a little bit of time. Okay, fake network manager, my favorite script. Okay, so now if we go through our raccoons, looks like 7 through 12 are facing the correct way, so that's good. And then 1 through 6 I appear to not be facing the right way. And I'm trying to figure out why. It's almost as if they did not listen to me at all. Let's see, I do have a null ref. No, that was just to populate their username, which we obviously don't have because we're not connected to a server right now. Clicking through some of my prints. So I just checked that print specifically because I remembered that print's here. So we hit this, but, oh, no, that's right. Yeah, transform. Yeah, it is on the object. So why, when we look at the actual object, is this rotation zeroed out? My guess is there's something else maybe controlling its rotation. I don't have it locked on the rigid body. We have like the constant force here, and I think the only reason why that's not running is it's currently set to kinematic, which should not prevent it from rotating. Because in fact we can just do this at runtime. I can drag it around. Let's make sure, I'm pretty sure these guys aren't going to be zero, but let's just make sure it didn't move the wrong ones or something weird's happening. Yeah, you're all zeroed out. So why? Because I can literally manually set that one. So if it was doing something on like an update loop, it wouldn't let me adjust this through here. It would keep canceling that out. So there's nothing in like an update loop every frame setting rotation. We definitely got to this line of code because we actually got that print and everything worked fine there. And this player gyro movement, I really got to rename the script at some point because it doesn't use gyro anymore, is on the player. Oh, can it be? I don't mess with. That's probably why. Because I use the transform and it is physics rigid body. It's something I forget to do a lot. That when you work with rigid bodies, you want to use the rigid body to move and rotate. I think that will fix it. Let's find out. Okay, let's spawn our people in. Actually, I'll give you the Unity view because that's what's going to give us the most important details. Okay, so yeah, number 2 is now facing forward. If we go over here, number 12 is also forward. Perfect. Okay. So now if we were to, let's say, launch this pink fella here. Have I clicked on the right thing? There we go. We should be able to choose his angle. So let's play with some angles. We are going to do power at 0.5 because really 1 is just way too intense. 0 angle. I think we decided that, or we discovered 180 launched it straight forward. So let's do 45. And so we should see kind of a diagonal launch. And here we go. Okay, so we have to remember these are going to be negatives that we want to see. Let's reset. Let's grab this person here. Oh, my incorrect way of resetting doesn't fix that. So let's spawn in. Cool. Okay. Yeah. When I do it the way I'm supposed to, it works. Though that is odd. Anyway, sorry, solving something in my brain. That's not important. Okay, so let's use negative 45. All of our positive angles seem to launch away. So actually, I think just because I don't know if I love that. So let's just encode, like invert it, because I don't want to have to be dealing with negatives. Okay, so that will come from launch player, Raccoon Physics. All right, so we're currently getting the angle. We will do launch direction. Oh, sorry, it's the debug that needs to be. Well, I guess we don't know. We won't know what the real value needs to be yet, because we have this debug one, and we're passing a positive value, which means when we get the callback, presumably it will also be positive. So if we just invert it, I'm trying to think of the best place to invert it that looks the nicest. We could also use absolute. So we could do math absolute. Oops. And that'll get us just the. What else do you need? I can't remember. Oh, because that's a vector 3. Okay, so actually we want to put that somewhere else. We want to put it on angle of launch. Angle rad. Yeah, let's just do it here. Okay, now we should be able to do positives. Not that that's like a huge deal, but it was going to annoy me. Today, I say. Okay, so let's spawn in our players. And then let's go to this one here. And now we'll do 0.5 power, and we will do positive 45. And my hope is that we will launch towards that spinny blue placeholder for what would be probably a sprinkler in the future that will push the raccoons away as they attack. Oh, I hit the wrong button because I'm not smart. So I have a hotkey on my keyboard. So if I hit spacebar, it just drops them, but it's not apply the launch habit because I'm so used to testing this that way. So we need to go back to our fake. We're going to spawn up some new players. And we will actually first we will reset the current ones, spawn in some new ones, and then we'll pick Mr. Orange here. And find his launch button, set it to 45 at 0.5. Okay, again, so orange we expect to go towards that kind of green diamond. No, it still didn't. How weird. Okay, let's just use a negative and see if that, maybe it's something else. Okay, so you're gonna be negative 45. Because if it's actually running that absolute, then no matter what I put in here, negative 45 or 45, it's always going to give it 45. But maybe something else weird is happening. Yeah. Okay. So we actually don't want it to be positive, which is funky. But let's get rid of our absolute function and see if that is it. Obviously, it didn't fix it, but we don't want to be putting random things in that don't help. So. Let's get rid of that. See if we set it to negative 45. If that works, great. If it doesn't, then we need to reconsider our angles and figure out what we need to input there. Basically, I want to get like a valid range of angles, and then we could even like clamp it to within those. All right, let's spawn in some new players. That looks good. Let's get this guy. And he will be negative 45 now because we're no longer stuck to absolute. Okay, so we went that way. So it seemed like 45. Yeah, we don't want to be on those under 180 angles is my guess. So if we did like, let's pick this one. It's just that's going to be annoying because I'm pretty sure the angles I'm going to be sending it are beneath 180. So I'm going to have to do some conversions probably. But like, so if we did like 130 and did this 0.5. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, that's good. It's working. It's just the numbers are a little not ideal. So I wonder if 90 is probably directly to the side. I'm going to use paint here to like draw myself a little. Oof, does paint have dark mode? Because my God. This is, I'm going to click away so I can see if it has a dark mode before I make you look at it again. Ah, they do. Nice. Oh, just fill in black. It's a smart idea. Actually, I'm going to do that also. I haven't opened paint in so long. Oh, that's so good. I feel so much more calm and at peace. Okay, but now I need to actually draw with something. Wait, to right click to draw? What the heck? Anyway, that's fine. Okay, so if here's our raccoon friend. Pretend he has legs that he doesn't yet. And a cool little tail. And a little snout. And if we do, let's see, it was 90. See, I don't know for sure. Let me test. I don't know if 90 is right or left. I'm just going to make myself a little map. Let's go back here and do... Yeah, I think I heard about maybe why everything was like really bright early on is because the idea was like to make it look like paper because a lot of the early computer software were just Word documents, right? It was to kind of replicate the Office environment, not Microsoft Office, but like an Office, and so things got built around that paradigm, and then many years later, people were like, well, maybe we don't need it to look like it's a piece of paper. And then dark mode started to come in. And I guess there's a bunch of research on, because most of us assume, at least most people I talk to assume dark mode is like better for on your eyes and like better for things. And I guess a lot of research was done and like it kind of all washes out. Like some of it's better, some of it doesn't make a difference, some of it's harder to read. It's just, so kind of, it's basically like use whatever you prefer. And for me, it's definitely dark mode. 90 is right forward, so negative 90 would be left. Okay, that is awesome. We will update our graph with that. So negative 90. It's so weird to draw with a right click. And then that means let's set one of our other angles. Oh yeah, the 180. I'm gonna give you whiplash with my jumping around. So this is 180. I'll double check, but yeah, in Unreal I know Z is up, which for me is wild because I'm so used to Y being up. Yeah, let's double check just to be safe, since we're making this as our source of truth. Where is my little? Since I've downloaded NVIDIA's latest update, I keep getting warnings. It says like high GPU load. It's like, oh, probably because I have too many monitors. Where is our friend? He's here, raccoon player. And we are going to send him 90 degrees and we think he's going to go in the red arrow direction. Yeah, you were right. Yep. So yeah, 90 is right, negative 90 is left, 180 is straight up. And so then I'm trying to think, so how does that make sense in my brain? Because I'm trying to figure out if I clamp it between negative 90. Is that right? Let me double check 180 is straight up. I think it was. But now I'm starting to second guess myself because, yeah. I'm really, really bad with rotations for the record. Like it's probably my weakest, other than art, which I'm not good at art, but other than art, angles just break my brain really, really badly. Spawn and debug. I've been in Unreal a few times. Like I've done a few projects, a few small projects in Unreal. It's been years though for me personally. My dev team that I work with, it's weird because I was going to say in my day job, but like it all kind of blends together because this is also something we work on as a team. But like one of our client projects right now is in Unreal. And so we have some team members on the team that are awesome at Unreal. I'm not one of those. So yeah, it's interesting. Like I started in Unity, so I feel the opposite. I'm like in Unity, it feels safe. It feels like comfortable. And then in Unreal, it feels weird and strange. What is this null ref? Oh, interesting. I will just ignore it for now. I just hopped into the code. It's a heist step. So there's like different points on the map that you can complete as objectives, but something doesn't have a good reference. But yeah, for me, just Unity is my safe space. It doesn't. I think there is a visual scripting now in Unity. I actually early days when I first started Unity, I used what was it called? There was a package, like a third-party plugin that did nodes and all that good stuff. But now I think they have something built in. Playmaker, that's what it was called. Okay, so we're going to double check to make sure 180 is straight ahead. And then hopefully my brain will determine that that's useful information and we will do something with it. Let's leave it at 1 so it really launches. Okay, yeah, so 180 positive is straightforward. Oh yeah, I mean if you're already doing C++, then you're already doing the hard stuff that, Unity is just C#. I feel like that's the only difference. And then of course just like familiarity with how the engine looks and is set up. I always think Unreal is best for realism. It does visuals really, really nice. It's I think a better rendering engine. Unity can render really pretty, but like it's a hassle and it's hard to make it look the same level of fidelity. But Unity is, I think, also a little stronger for doing weird games and like things that have kind of non-traditional movement, which like for this game is a great example. Like I'm sure I could build it in Unreal. I'm sure there's a way. I'm like absolutely certain. But like having the multiple gravity directions and this kind of weird custom physics, Unity I think is stronger at being able to mess with that. But it's all preference. That's my personal, very subjective opinion. Yes, yes, yeah. It's like whatever we know well. It's like, oh, that would be so easy in my tool. Okay, now I have to try to make sense of angles, which is, as I admitted, my weak point. So my goal is to figure out what I want to clamp my angles to be. So between negative 90 and 90, what my brain doesn't want to decide is if that makes sense, that we can just clamp those as the extents. Because when I gave it negative 45. So I guess that makes sense because this would be like negative 180. And then this would be negative 45. Right? I think. And then this would be positive 45. both of which are bad. We do not want those. Okay, I think that works. So if I just clamp it between those, we should never hit this side, which is the bad side. Oh, cool. What I'd be curious to know about the game you're making. Let's see. I'm gonna hop back over. Just curious, like you said, physics. So, like, is it like what genre? In some way, most games are physics, except very simple 2D games. But many games. I shouldn't say most games. Okay, so now that I know that works, I want to see what happens when I launch it from the mobile, like the other client, and see if it works. Oh, nice. That very brief description. I'm sure this is like an unfair comparison, but it totally reminds me of that game where you're like in the pot and you're like climbing with the pickaxe or whatever. Okay. So let's stop this. Let's go to our menu so we can connect our client and host. Oh, cool. Good. I'm glad my guess was in the ballpark. Okay. So I'm on the wrong screen. All right, I will now connect my client. Oh, I'm on the wrong scene. That will not connect from there. Oh, I know a step that I forgot that I totally need to do. So let's stop this. So right now, this should be a pretty easy change. This is the launch effect, but it's like covering all the logic of like which raccoon you're launching, all the important stuff that actually it needs to be there. And I just did that quickly to make it work. Yeah, so we need to see all of that stuff. What are you, random cube? Random sprite render, raccoon. Why do you exist? Go away. So what I'm going to do before you would have this launch button. Right now it's next raccoon. We want the other one. Yeah, so we'd have this release raccoon button, and that would just turn on the gravity, basically turn on the constant force and move the player through the space. But now that we're applying force, we need to have this button actually move us to the other screen. So one thing, I want to make sure my canvases are ordered properly. Are you? Yeah, you're your own canvas. So I think, yeah, sort order. That's what I want. So you'll be 1. So you'll be defaulted to be above it. So I think I'll just turn on the canvas when it's time to use it. And then when you launch, it needs to close probably. Either that. I'm trying to think of like for testing, it might make sense to put a button to close the thing, just so that way I can stay on the screen if I want to. So I think that's what I'll do. Sometimes it's better to make things more controllable when you're testing new stuff. Let's make the button not incredibly tiny. Move it low enough it doesn't get blocked. And then we will call, I need to get a font that actually exists. And we'll say close modal. It's not really a modal, but my brain will understand what that means. It's really disable canvas is really what it is, but that's fine. And then now let's make that button do that thing. What's nice is actually I don't think I have to even write a script for that. I can just say canvas Is this a canvas? Sorry, it says canvas in brackets, but yeah. We would just disable that, yeah. So we'll grab this canvas. Then we would go to the canvas object and disable it. So when we click that button, it should disable. We can test that really quick. If we go to here, we can play with the hold and drag. And then if we close modal, it closes. Sweet. Okay, now we need to do the opposite. We need to make the other one turn on the modal. The only thing that I don't love about the non-script, of course, it's sometimes hard to debug, but also if I leave this on, it won't default to off because I don't have a script controlling that. So, okay, let's do our launch button. You will now actually not do. Actually, I have to make sure this gets called. This is the launch raccoon. Actually, no, I don't. Yeah, it gets called through the script. That's fine. We can just remove that entirely. I think the moment I release it, I'll have to double check, but it should send that message of like, hey, here's my power, here's my current angle. I'm very confident that we will be lucky if it's within the right angles, but that would be amazing if it just works. Launch, you need to take the canvas and you need to turn on the canvas. Okay, so that should be as easy as that. And so if we go here and look, we would, oops, I'm clicking in the OBS. We'd click our spawn position, we'd pick our skill, and then here, before that would release, this time it should pop up our modal. Lovely, we would do that, which would in theory launch the message. Let me read my debug logs and see if it is. It says player 0 launch, which means it does something when I hit that. Let's hit close modal, and then now we're back here. Though before this would numerate, and it didn't. So that makes me skeptical. Let's see, when we launch this, let's see what this debug that printed, where that lives. Basically, like, what did that call? I feel like you opened to the wrong script, Visual Studio. Oh, that's why, because it's through Quantum. So it did talk to Quantum. It sent a network message, but that means I must have had some local stuff that was turning on and off. I was still wondering, yeah, like where. Let's go to our little controller script and see where it sends that message. Okay, so we are calling this send launch command to host, and that does seem to be working. Okay, so I'm calling it a cannon right now. So when we launch the raccoon, we send the command, which is great. But we're not updating any of the stuff on the visual side. So I think I want to go back and undo, because I can't remember what function it was. I think I'm maybe too deep. Let's see. Oh, good. Okay, so it was raccoon launch button. Perfect. Okay, so we are going to assign that again. Oops, actually, no, we don't want it. Well, shoot. Yeah, because I think once you get to the launch, you can't abort. Like, that's going to be a thing that we want to be kind of like, you're here, like, you're launching this raccoon. deal with it. So this will control all the visual side of what's been locked out. And that was on the, what script was that on? I think it was, I really don't remember actually. Let's see. Oh, right there. I got really lucky. Spawn options. Okay, and then it was raccoon launch button. But now that raccoon launch button used to send a network message. We don't want it to. Let's make sure that it does it. Okay, cool. I already commented out, so we should be safe. So let's try again, and let's see if we follow. Hey, what's up? It is Unity. We are working in Unity Game Engine. Okay, so now we can select these things here. Hit release, and now we're here. And we launched our raccoon in theory, and then we're here. So the next raccoon probably isn't an important button at this point because now we have to hit another key, but we look to be functional. So all of the flow appears to be working, which is cool. So now the true test is if this will connect to the host and the host will read the data properly. Let's go ahead and save the changes. Okay. Oops, I have to play. So it sounds like we have Unreal represented on the chat. I like Unity. I wonder if anyone's a Godot user or some other game engine. Okay, that's kind of in the way. Okay, it's in the middle of where we're trying to go, but we're just trying to test this. So, alrighty. So let's. Oh, I'm not spawned in. Okay, I'm so dumb. I'm getting tired. Okay, so yeah, I click on my spawn because we're not in debug mode. We are playing the actual networked game right now. So yeah, I can pick my spots. I'm going to pick. Let's do 2. Nice. Yeah, I feel like Godot is really, ever since Unity kind of had that really bad PR moment. Thankfully, they took back all those things. So, I mean, but Godot got really popular in that bandwidth, and I keep hearing it sticking around. So it must be pretty good. People seem to stick with it. Okay, so I've picked my location. I've picked my class. I'm going to be the lockpick class. I'm going to go to the other screen. Okay, here's the moment of truth, y'all. So the moment I pull back and release, it should go. Now, I have no idea which direction it'll go in. Hopefully, it'll at least look like it had the force I put on it. I'm going to pull it all the way back and aim it left, and we're just going to see. It's tweaking out now, and that's interesting. Okay. I'm not mad about that because that told us a couple things, right? So that told us, one, it received the power, because if it didn't, it would have just went straight in a slow line. 2, I think the angle is being calculated properly because that looks roughly 45 degrees. It looks like it went roughly 45 degrees. It just went backwards. So I think if we inverted that would solve the problem. I want to do another test. Let's make another raccoon. We'll put him also on spot 2 to be consistent. So then in theory, I can't spin it the other direction. It doesn't, it's not coded to allow me to do that. But if I shoot it straight, I should go straight Straight backwards. Okay, perfect. So everything just needs to be flipped. That should be relatively easy. So let's, of course, so it's angles, and the angles are my nightmare. So we'll see how easy it actually is. Okay. So this will be, we need to go to our game scene. But I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I mean, for the first try over the network, for that system to actually properly send the angle and read it is pretty good. Because even locally, when we were testing it, we had the backwards problem, right? So would I just add 180 to it? Is that right? I feel like... it's actually both. So the target right now is like we're going to totally release this as like a Steam game. This art you're seeing here is not game art. This is just programmer art right now. But the idea is that like this will be a kind of Jackbox style multiplayer game, but we're designing it with like very intentionally asynchronous inputs. So you don't have to like be very quick with the inputs. And so that way you could play over stream with streamers, and you won't get frustrated. Like it's not responding fast enough. It's not fair. So yeah, it's a real game that will be a very streamer friendly game. Okay, I feel like there's like some rotation thing that would like just totally work out of the box. That would be very simple because we know it just needs to be backwards. But it's not like a vector 3 where I can just multiply it by -1, right? So like I'd figure out the angle version of that. So we could render a bunch of stuff on the mobile device. Couple challenges with that. It's going to be on WebGL, so that way you don't have to download anything on your phone. You just play through a browser, you scan a QR code, it all pops up. It is a Unity build though, so it will have all the capabilities of Unity, but the more we put on there, the slower it will run, and it'll just be harder to have a performant game. And so there's that. And then the other thing is like we want people to like all be kind of looking at the most pretty central thing. I mean, the phone could be pretty too, but like we want one central thing that everyone's like collectively enjoying together. And if you're like heads down in your phone and like just kind of staring at what you're doing, you're not enjoying, like it's not very communal. So we will be rendering some stuff on the phone, but intentionally making the main screen where a lot of your attention goes. So sort of a design choice. Okay, so let's figure out how the heck we are going to do this angle thing. I'm excited because I know it's not a big deal, but I don't know the actual solution off the top of my head, so we'll figure it out together. Because I think I should change it on the input side. Like I think we should send the data we want as opposed to converting it on the back end is my instinct. We have too many Visual Studios open, and I've lost track of which one is connected to which instance of Unity. Because I actually have two instances of Unity open right now. So I can do multiplayer. Another thing Unreal actually does better is Unreal lets you just like launch multiple instances to test multiplayer in the same version. But I love Unity. Unity is where I know how to work. Yes. Talking and distracting myself. Cool. Both of us think that adding 180 degrees should work, so let's try it. Brain needs to work. So when I stream, so I run my studio, but I get to code a lot. The business is at a point that a lot of the admin stuff and sales, I get to share those responsibilities. So I get to code a lot during the day, and then I stream in the evenings. And by the evening time, my brain works at probably 60% capacity. So sometimes I just lose track of where I'm at. We are looking for the 180, which is on the script that is here. Okay. something that I've learned is like when in doubt of which Visual Studio is connected to which Unity, to just close them all, because I've done things where I keep editing a script and I'm like, why isn't this working? And then I discover it's like for a different instance of Unity and it's not reading that file, and that's why it's not changing. So that's why I close everything down. Okay, so here is where we are sending it. We're getting the Z, we're converting it to the floating point that the network likes. So we're getting this camera rotation. Would we just go? Can I do that? Because this is a float, so we get a float value, and then we add 180 to it. I'll make a comment so I don't see this later, and I'm like, what the heck was I doing? Adding 180 degrees to, quote, invert the angle direction. Cool. Sweet. Let's try to run again and see what that is. One of the early tests we did with this game was to try it as a using gyro on the phone. So like you would see because everything's a sphere right now, so like it brings a lot of ideas about like marbles, even though ultimately these are going to be raccoons and not marbles. But it was like you'd rotate your phone and you would see, and you would like move around your character on the big screen, and it was like kind of fun. But ultimately, we want to make sure the game is accessible and like people get it. And we found some people would like immediately like hold their phone vertical, and then like just gyro isn't natural to everybody. And we just decided that like, yeah, it's kind of fun, but not worth the headache here that we're running into. Okay, let's okay. Let's move this out of the way. We'll be the lockpick again. That was weird. It didn't spawn me with lockpick. I guess I think I need to order those. Technically, if you do the skill first, it doesn't work because you're not spawned in yet. That makes sense. Okay, so we are going to go 180. I guess I can move this here because our player's down here. We're going to launch straight ahead. It's so funny, when I'm not over the network, it doesn't tweak out like that. I have to look into that. So it looks like I'm going to go a little right because it's angled a little right. Hey, okay, that's good. I don't know if it went a little right, but it definitely launched in the general direction that I wanted. Let's try 45 degrees. We'll go 1. And then we'll do Scout. So Scout, I don't know if you guys just saw, but like immediately the fog of war cleared up a little. The Scout has a bigger radius, so this is a class you want to use to like reveal the map better. You can see our lockpick character got all the way out of the house, and you can see that path, but you really didn't get a lot of intel. All right, let's launch. I really want to go through the door, but I even more so want to see if this is working. Okay, so that feels about 45 degrees. I'm looking at the arrow. This UI is kind of janky, but okay. It definitely moved at an angle. It wasn't nearly as strong of an angle as I expected it to move. So we may need to, but I think it's working. I think it's just going to be a visual communication thing. I don't think the ball is rotating. Oh, I can still shoot him while he's. Can I just keep? Yeah. So when you hit these dark blue walls, you get caged, and so it's like it kind of messes up your movement. Let's launch another one. Yeah, you know what I should do after I test this other one? I'm going to put like a little cube on their front to make sure. That's a good call, because like that could be throwing off rotations for sure. Let's see, next raccoon. I'm just going to keep using spot 2 just because I want to be consistent. And actually, hold on. Let's test this other side. Yeah, you might be right. They might be going backwards currently. That was weird. I don't know where that guy came from. Unless someone joined. And one of y'all joined. No, yeah, I just turned him into a grease man. Okay, so I think, yeah. Okay, so I didn't want to launch you. I wasn't ready. Okay, let me spawn in one more. That was a little concerning because it seemed like that launch didn't work properly. Okay. I'm hoping it's not only working for like the first launch. I'm going to try to like target as if I'm trying to go for those pegs over there, which you couldn't do before when you just released. It would go straight down. Interesting. Okay, well, definitely we have the issue of like we're moving pieces around that have been shot previously. Yeah, see, like I'm just launching all of these guys. It feels like it's hard to tell when they're all in the pegs. Oh yeah, I have a reset. There we go. We have more testing options. Trying to ignore the ones that exist already. So if I go right, it's going left. Okay, so that's backwards. If I test down here, let's see if that's the same problem. So if we go to 4. Okay, so that's a little annoying. That yeah, the rotation is inverted on one side and not the other. So that's fun stuff. Their general forward direction is the same. Okay, so let's close this. So let's put some a radial impulse. I know. So right now I am doing an impulse style of force. I know they have in Unity they have explosive force. I thought in this case it seemed like impulse would be more slingshotty. Like I'm kind of thinking this is acts like a slingshot, but explosive force might also be interesting. In world space rather than local. Good call out, actually. Yeah, let's see. Let's hop into where if I can find that script again and see what kind of force it's doing. Yeah, because that would, in theory, probably solve the problem. It's like either we can make sure their rotation is perfectly matching, or yeah, like I said, do it in world space, and then it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah, we're adding force. Getting the angle. Oops, you already see what I'm seeing. So this is just a pure angle. And then we get the vector 3. None of this is local specific yet. We're adding force to the rigid body. Yeah, I don't know actually if there is a... Yeah, because I actually normally, when I've done add force, I don't know if it I feel like that would be world space. Because they're not getting transform local or anything like that. Because we can do add force at position. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's possible that maybe we can just give it a position, but the problem is I don't know if that vector, if that angle value would work out well. Because of the network element of this, it's such a hassle to test, and also just as a kind of prototyping thing, I'm trying to think of like what will require the least experimentation. Let's see in the scene if they do spawn with different rotations. Like we know forward is forward, but like are they rotated? And let's also give them a little face. That way we know which way is forward. All right, so that's his face. And I think what I'll do is I'll even give him little arms. And I'll make the right arm go 90 degrees. So it's sort of like, like when you like bike signals. I think I liked it that way. Okay, so now we know where his face is, and we know where his right arm is. How are we getting the force rotation currently? So the angle is the amount of angle. Where's my camera? The amount of angle that that arrow has, and so whatever that value is, that quaternion Euler Z value is, we send that, and then we just are applying. We're turning it back in, and this is where I don't fully understand the math here, because after I got that far, I was like, how do I get it back to an angle? Because I just have a value of Z, and so I guess this converts it back to an angle, and then we add force to the rigid body with that direction. So what I want to see though is if my guess is right, that maybe like some are facing back. Well, no, they aren't facing backwards. But my theory is that maybe their like world right is different to them, but I don't know. Well, let's just see. Spawn in. Okay, let's take a look at our friends here. Okay, so right. No, they look. Yeah, so that would. Okay, so thinking through this then, so the local is correct, but when I'm applying the angle, that's related to, I think, the world space. So I think it's almost the opposite. Like I'd almost want to apply it in local space, because like if I'm just thinking out loud here, but if we're here and we're like, hey, go, 90, like 45 degrees, like let's say that's off to the right here, which I think it is. So it's like we're going 45 degrees, they're going to launch off to the right. Well, 45 degrees is different. Like if world center is its center point, I guess. I don't know. I hate angles. I hate rotations. they all need to be facing the same direction. But I would think that, and I might just be stupid here and dense, but I would think that since for them forward, this blue arrow, right? Like vector 3 forward is 180. And so for these guys, the same thing. If blue arrow vector 3 forward is 180 relative to their position. But yeah, I honestly, like, rotation just breaks my mind. You end up on the other side of the map. Let me feed this. Let's cheat. And it must be painful if you totally understand the right way to do this, but I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to use some AI assistance here to help fix my problem. Let's see here. We want to hop in. I'll pop it over in a second. Okay, so let's just see if we can get a nice solution here. So I'm just going to copy this function, and I'm going to say my raccoon avatars spawn at different locations in the map based on their spawn positions and rotation at spawn. The angle is affecting them differently. Yeah, I think I follow what you're saying, Pixel. I think I'm not able to come up with the fix in my brain this late at night, and probably even during the day because I'm bad at angles. But but yeah. See, raccoon avatar spawn at different locations of the map based on the spawn positions, rotation at spawn, based on their spawn positions and rotation at spawn. The force angle is affecting them differently. How can we make sure before? Because I think we want it. Hello. Yeah, no, angles are my nightmare. We're like, specifically rotations, and like angles are like tied to rotations. But yeah, like this is like on every project I work on that starts to, whenever I get to like rotational stuff, it's like always the slowest part. Okay, so let's see. How can we make sure the force is acting as expected? Is force acts as expected. I think when it comes to prototyping, using like ChatGPT is especially strong because like it's not great in my opinion at architecture. So like when you're trying to like organize your project and like plan it out and like, you know, build it in a way that makes sense, I don't think it's as strong in that. But when you're just like, hey, I just need this thing so I can see how it feels and see how it looks, and I can just dump some code in, it's pretty good. Okay. I'm skimming. So sometimes it'll kick it off where it's like, here's your problem. This time it starts, I'm focusing on ensuring the force applied to the raccoons are consistently in line with their spawn rotation. I'm working on, okay, cool. When applying force based on angle, it's important to ensure that the force is applied in a consistent direction. Yeah, it's just like filler. In your case, the angle you want to use is an offset relative to the raccoon's forward direction at spawn. You compute the launch direction by rotating the raccoon's forward direction by the specific angle around the y-axis. Use the raccoon's current forward vector, which I think is what we want. Rotate the forward vector by the given angle, apply the force. Okay. That sounds plausibly correct. The words kind of made sense. Let's see if its reasoning seemed right. Let's see how it works. So just for the sake of looking back at this is prettier looking to me because it doesn't do any math equations, which makes me happy. And we're not getting cosines and things. So if this works, I would prefer that. The downside, though, is now I have to do the tedious testing of making the connection go over the network. So save menu. Sweet. I honestly trust you at this point more on this rotational stuff, Pixel. You've been right so far on everything you've suggested. So, okay, where is my? Ooh, I grabbed all the raccoons on OBS on accident. Okay, there we go. Oh, there's also stuff I can do. I don't mess with the stream avatars too much, but I think I can does this work? I can drop explosives. I have to remember to do that. Interact with some stuff. Okay, distracted by playing with the raccoons. Okay, so we'll launch one from each side and see how it goes. Let's start with the middle. Are they what? Wait, hold on. What? Why? So on 3, check that. On 3, they are facing their own way. That would be. Is it every other time it rotates? Oh, that is fun and hilarious. So if we start at 1, 2, it's like he's dancing across them. That's wild. Okay, well, for now, so hey, I'm glad that we gave them body parts. For now, I think we will just face forward because that's what we expect to happen, and I'll fix that separately. Cool. Well, that's awesome. Then yeah, eventually it'll matter when they're real avatars, but yeah, they're spheres right now. So okay, let's see. I shouldn't pick that out. It's too late. I can't change classes now. We will try to aim left. We're going to try to shoot this way towards the middle of our screen. Let's see if we get that behavior. Oop, I looked away, but I think it did not work. I think it went backwards again. So we may need to undo that inversion work that we did. Let's try. Let's try one more just to be sure, but I think that's the... Hey, I wasn't ready. Why'd you go? Why did you launch? Let's go to spot 8. So we'll shoot straight. He'll probably go straight backwards. Yep. Okay, I also need to remember to turn off that on the other raccoons. Okay, so now we get to remember where that happened. We did it, I think, on the front end side. Hey, what's up, Code Bro? This is Trash Heist. It is a local, not just local, I always say local because that's like the main way I think people will like to play it, but a multiplayer game in the style of Jackbox, where there's a central screen and you each have your own mobile device that you connect. Yeah, it's a the camera is an orthographic camera. All the angles are kind of wacky, and that's partially intentional because we're using gravity, but we're going to slowly obscure the fact that we're using gravity and make it feel like raccoons just scampering across the world and bumping into things is the eventual goal. Let's see. Okay, so we're looking for, we were inverted the angle somewhere. Oh yeah, we should add 180. Yeah, I love when things are easy to fix. Just delete that. And I'll probably delete the comment that says it's there because it's not there anymore. Let's see if this works. I know there's that Pixel, you're worried about the camera. Let's see if we're lucky and it doesn't matter. Okay, let's go here and then go here. So this is the connection phase. So we do this to connect. And like I said, in coming weeks, I'll have y'all join with me as you want. It's just I'm stopping and going so much that I think it would be just frustrating for everybody. But yeah, and then when everyone gets in, then you launch from here. Okay, let's see what happens without doing any additional rotational changes. So, okay, they are facing forward. We are going to launch them. Also, again, let's try middle of the screen. So we're going to launch them kind of diagonal left. I really hate how that arrow just tweaks out, but not over a single player. Interesting. So he flew over the walls and also backwards. Yeah, but it wasn't the wrong way. So like he needed to go that way if I wanted him to go left. Let's do that as a test, but I think that is the case. So we'll do 2, we'll do lockpick. And so this time if I shoot right, they should go left at roughly, hopefully the same angle. Yay. Okay. Let's see if the other area also works. We will put in spot, let's say 9. Let's be the scout. Get some more visuals. Okay, so now we are going to launch. We want to launch that way. So based on our learnings, we should point the arrow this way to go diagonal left. Sweet. Okay, so that does seem universal now, which is great. Now, what's interesting though is the force. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, they're going the right direction. Because we shot them left, but their sense of gravity is down, basically the direction of these white arrows. So I think the issue now is we just need to somehow invert the X. So we inverted the Y by adding 180, but now we need to invert the X, which I think we would just multiply that value by -1 because going by our little chart, our little pretty picture here, we basically want -90 to do +90. Do you know the test you said? Which one should I test? Like what number should I spawn them in at? Let me pop that open so you can see. I don't know. Good question. So in that case, if I'm off by 45 degrees, I think a straight shot wouldn't work. So if we let's pick 9. And now if I shoot him straight, if we're off by 45 degrees, he should go at some kind of angle, I would think. But I think he's going to go, oh my gosh, well, if I can make the arrow stay straight. So I think he should go fairly straight. Yeah, oh my gosh, he launched into the sky. I'm definitely going to have to weaken this power that they're going. So yeah, I think it's not 45 degrees. I think it's just the inverted off by 45. I don't know, because if it was off by 45, I was shooting straight and he went straight. Let's try from the other side. Okay, 5. Let's do the Grease Man. Oh. Yeah, he goes straight as well. And look where he is now. Yeah, he's in the right spot now. So right now, anyone who spawns at this location 1 through 6, their gravity direction is the direction of the arrows, and so they'll always be forced that way. The launch direction is just a single impulse that only just happens at that first start, and from what I saw, they seem to be accepting that behavior. So I'm gonna try something. Maybe it won't be right, but I'm gonna try. No, they never impulse again. Yeah, right now there is a bug where they're impulsing again, but they shouldn't. Yeah, once you impulse, think of it like Angry Birds, right? Like you slingshot, and then it's off. Like your hands off. You can't control anything. Okay, I'm gonna hit stop and go tweak our code. We're very, very close though. This for rotational thing, this actually went better than I expected, even though it's kind of a little wonky. Especially because over the network, right? And we're moving UI elements and then trying to translate that to an orthographic 3D object over the network. Yeah, it's just lots of failure points. Okay, so we need to flip the. Let's see. I'm gonna look at my graph again. Oh yeah, I was gonna multiply by -1. I think that will work. Because if it's -90, it will become +90. If it's +90, it will become -90. Yeah, one of the reasons why we're not allowing another impulse is to let, let's say we all played it over stream. I would have a huge advantage if I was the host, because it would be very responsive. You guys would have delay and latency, and so you would just not be able to play as well. But since we all kind of play at our own pace and input when we're ready to input, it should feel a lot better to play with people of different latency and different ability. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh gosh, I hope I put it in the right Visual Studio. I think I did. Yeah. I can tell just because it's compiling on this one, and it wouldn't have if I made the change on the other one. No, I mean, also you've been super helpful, Pixel, so don't worry about that. Our weird design, that is definitely this is a very unique game with not obvious design intentions. But I'm excited about it. I think this is going to be really cool. It's important to me to try to make games that are a little different and not just be too generic or samey when we make stuff. So. Where is my input? There's my input. GWRF. Growth. All the vowels have been intentionally removed to avoid words that we don't want to pop up for room codes. Okay, so let's see if we start at 4. Oops, oh my gosh. So I have OBS open so I can occasionally check and make sure the mic and just everything looks right and I'm not just talking to a wall. And sometimes I just click in OBS thinking it's my actual screen. Okay, let's do the scout because I just want to see things. Okay. We are going to launch them left. Center screen. This is the most annoying user experience. Okay. Yay. Okay, that worked. Okay. Good sign. Good sign. He bounced off a peg. That's why he went back, but that's fine. Okay, let me move this so y'all can see him traverse the scene. So when the scout works properly, you can see like how much more they reveal compared to the other classes. All right, so let's now go to the other side. We'll go with 9. Actually, I have an idea. I want to go 8. Why you no work? What's going on here? Oh, am I getting an error? That's interesting. Hold on. Oh, there's a disconnect. I'm getting an error that says operation not raised, not called because client is not connected or not ready yet. Yeah, the Fog of War came out really nice. At first, I was going to have the Fog of War only over the building you're doing the heist in, and you can see everywhere outside. But like the moodiness of like seeing very little and like wanting to explore is kind of fun. It's weird. I've actually not gotten a disconnect before, so I'm just going to relaunch. It's kind of annoying because we were so close to affirming our test. But let me just relaunch, reconnect. Noir, nice, yeah. That definitely feels heisty. Let's see. I always forget main menu. Okay. I hope it was just a fluke but I mean, it said it was a disconnect. So yeah, I think it was just a fluke, but we will see momentarily. Okay, let's launch this. All right, let's start on the left side this time, just in case it only works once. We can test it. Okay, we'll be the lockpick. I wonder if I can kind of move this here, because I'm going to shoot him off to the right. All right, so he should go right. Yahoo! And then gravity is forcing him that way, so he got kind of caught in that corner. Now he's just sliding across that wall. I want to figure out how to handle this side because just they'll glide through the start, which I just don't love the look of. But that worked as expected. Let's launch from the other side. Okay, yeah, it was just a fluke because now it's working just fine. Let's be a lockpick. Again, lockpick is red. He can go through the door. I'm going to aim at the door. Yeah, I feel like I just went through a wall that I should not have been able to go through, but he launched the right way, and that's what we're here to test. So that's encouraging. And I do have to say, like, I feel this is a little more engaging. Before you would just hit launch and they would just roll out from the starting position. This does feel different, I think, in a positive way. Let's see, I'm going to do 12. The power is way too strong. Like, there's a lot of tuning that needs to happen to make this, not totally broken, and like that flickering arrow is just maddening. But we can like keep it like in the yellow zone maybe. Speaking of yellow, go yellow character. It is tempting to like want to be able to do other stuff after that. But one of our rules is like we don't want timing based like synchronous play to keep it working well for streamers. So cool. Okay. Well, I think that is a great place to stop. We got this feature fully working. There's of course some funny things like I can re-impulse them while they're already out, which we will not allow players to do. But we can now spawn players in, set their rotation, and launch them in new directions, which is cool. Thanks for hanging out, y'all, and also appreciate all the dev support. It's wonderful to like get help coding things while I'm working. I'll catch you all later.